The Bolsheviks were a revolutionary party committed to the ideas of Karl Marx. They believed that the working classes would at some point liberate themselves from economic and political control of the ruling classes. Once they had achieved this, a genuine socialist society based on equality could be established. In their view, this process was bound to take place, eventually. The Bolsheviks were formed and led by Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, known simply as Lenin. Ruthless and single-minded, Lenin decided that the conditions in Russia in 1917 were ripe for revolutions. The Bolsheviks were given a strong boost by a number of factors. First, the provisional government. As the name implied, the provisional government was meant to be a temporary affair. Following the fall of the Tsar, Russia needed a government to run things until proper elections could be held. These elections were delayed. The Soviets. After the February Revolution, the first Soviet appeared in Petrograd. Soon, other Soviets had been elected in Moscow and other cities. The Soviets were basically councils elected by workers, soldiers, and sailors. Economic problems. Economic difficulties had played a major role in Nicholas II's fall from power. The provisional government had very limited success in dealing with this problem. Prices were on rising, food was in short supply, and the peasants' desire for control of more land. The Russian people wanted the war to come to an end. The country was exhausted and the people had had enough. Incredible, the provisional government could not see this. They persisted on with the military campaigns. A final unsuccessful offensive against the Germans was attempted in June 1917 with the remaining loyal troops. The Bolsheviks had three main policies given by Lenin. Peace. The Russians wanted the war to come to an end, so Lenin promised that the war could come to an end. Then, bread. Lenin promised that the Bolsheviks could solve the food storage problem that the provisional government had caused. Land. The Bolsheviks were not supported by the peasants, so by giving them land, Lenin assured that the peasant would stay neutral when the Bolsheviks made their bid for power. Lenin was now convinced that the time was ripe for the Bolsheviks to seize power in the name of the Soviets. The provisional government had been seriously weakened by its inaction during the Kornilov revolt, and it had little control over the army. The Bolsheviks were now in control of the Petrograd Soviet and in a much stronger position to realize their goal, bringing about the revolution that they desired. The actual takeover of Petrograd was organized by Trotsky. On 24 October, units of the Red Guards took control of the city. Key buildings, power stations, railways, and tram stations, important bridges, were in Bolshevik hands. A large warship that was sympathetic to the Bolsheviks, the Aurora, steamed up the river Neva and trained its guns onto the Winter Palace, where the provisional government was located. On the night of the 25th and 26th of October, the Bolsheviks stormed the Winter Palace and arrested the provisional government. Lenin now proclaimed a new government of Russia by the Soviets. The Congress of Soviets met and endorsed the actions of the Bolsheviks. The Bolshevik Revolution was now a fact.
Marxism, also called scientific socialism, was created in the 19th century by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It emerges as a deeper reflection of the utopic socialism that only stated an ideal society without the proper reflection of the capitalist society. Marxism is founded by the next concepts. First, the class fight, that also was stated in the Communist Manifesto. It is conceived as an analysis of human history through the concept of social class and social division of work. This was based on dialectic materialism, that conceives matter as the base of reality. The critique to capitalist economy is essential in Marxism, developed in Marx's book, Das Kapital. Marxism states that capitalism is founded around human work through the concept of surplus, that is basically the price of human work that is added to a product. Capitalists use this value to enrich themselves, leaving the real producers of it without this. The ideology tries to explain the ways capitalism dominates minds. This is ringed by the concept of mercancy fetishism, which explains the incapacity of someone to perceive the usage value. This makes a base of capitalist production. And the fourth and last concept of Marxism is communism, that will be explained later. Leninism, by the other way, states that communism has to be achieved by a revolution led by the proletariat. This may be preached by a syndicalist organization. Leninism states that imperialism is the higher level of capitalism, and that capitalism has to be destroyed by revolutionary ways. Any trial to reform capitalism is destined to fail. Lenin stated that the only way to destroy the state, communism believes in the inexistence of the state, is through the revolution of the proletariat and replacement of the state with a dictatorship of the proletariat. Lenin's theory of imperialism tried to prove Marx's, explaining that Marx didn't predict a new phenomenon. Capitalism turned it into a global and national system. Lenin stated that the imperialist nations, USA, are trying to expand its ideas and stop the revolutions of the proletariat, and a sort of new colonialism. Advanced nations keep the control of the not advanced one, and the formation of a labor aristocracy that keeps control and enriches from the surplus produced by the so-called third world nations. Lenin stated that socialism won't survive in a poor country. So Leninism searches a global revolution. Communism is a utopic and theoretic society that surpasses the capitalist problems. Marx never gave a definition of communism, but did let some clues of its definition. Today we understand communism as a socio-economic organization characterized by the common property of the production, media. This meaning that the result of the work is of everybody, and not only for a select group of people, as monarchists and bourgeois societies do. It also states the inexistence of social classes and a state. State is defined as a political organization that has a sovereign power, a social organization. The state is made up by different institutions that have power on society's daily life.